I guess that's how nostalgia works. I mean, there's all kinds of stores and websites that just podcasts with Tony Schiavone on them that just live off of nostalgia. It's weird.
TV shows with Tony Schiavone on them.
Yeah. I mean, nostalgia is a big deal. My friend Brian Rogers in South Carolina is the person who pointed out that he thinks everybody has like a decade, and I don't mean like the 80s. I just mean there's like a 10-year run where movies and music and sports, like when you're in your formative years, you always sort of go back to that, and it becomes like your happy place, your happy escape to sort of relive the way things were in that time, whether it was a movie or a song or a wrestling match.
I'll watch Wayne's World and WrestleMania 8 any day of the year. It just makes me feel good. Yep.
Tony, if you had, what is your sort of comfort food of wrestling? We've talked about Bryce and I really grew up as WWF kids. I know that yours was Mid-Atlantic Championship Wrestling, but is there a specific year that you go to, or a match or a program or something like that?
And why was it black and white, huh, Tony? Right? Abraham Lincoln with the hammer locks and
yes, with that traditional thumb in the anus grip.
Wow.
That was recently on, and I found, I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
You saw that? I found it on Instagram, Old Timey Wrestling call, black and white. He said that reliable thumb in the anus grip, pick him up for the slam. I'm thinking, I got to use that on TV.
I would love. Can you say anus on TBS or TNT?
They say almost everything, don't they? Yeah.
It's a real part of your body. It's an anatomical term. I think that makes it okay.
We'll give it to MJF to say, because he gets away with every freaking thing.
Hey, you know what? If you said that on a show where you were working with Taz, say your line again about the anus, and then I'll be Taz.
Okay. Picks him up with that traditional thumb in the anus grip.
Rectum Jones over here.
you know, Hook has an anus too. You know that, right? You know, Hook has.
I think that's behind the scenes. I don't think that's.
I forgot what we were talking about. See, just
Hook's anus.
Comfort food.
Not Hook's anus. No, I don't know.
Yeah. What you grew up on? Like,
what I grew up on. Yes. I'm thinking that it was my high school and college years. From like 74 to 80. That time was especially when I was a senior in high school and a freshman, junior, and sophomore in college. Those were my years, like 77, 78.
So who were the top guys?
Who were the top guys? Top guys?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they were Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat, Wahoo McDaniel, Greg Valentine, the Anderson brothers, Blackjack Mulligan. Was a part of it. Who else? Johnny Weaver was a part of it.
Did you get WWF in Virginia at all?
No, not at all. The only way I knew of WWF and AWA was what we call the Apter magazines, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Wrestler and Pro Wrestling Illustrated or whatever it was. There were two of them, and I bought those religiously.
Oh, another ref bump.
Another one, man. 2 in the first few matches here.
But
who are the agents on this show?
Get up. So,
opening his eye.
Bryce, we talked about this with Matt last week. Did you prefer long-haired Rude or short-haired Rude?
I prefer long hair Rude. It seems like a more that's everyone had long hair to me when wrestling started. It just felt, even though it wasn't really true, it felt like everyone had long hair. That's what I like. I like long hair Rude the most. But that's me being a WWF kid, I guess, too.
That's the 80s too, right? Longer, a mullet type hair that he has.
When I started training, someone told me some of the old timers was like they all had long hair because it was easier to call spots, and that made a lot of sense to me.
Wow.
I didn't text you. Don't say I did. That wasn't me.
Somebody did.
Well, I know we're on the same text chain getting texts, but it's not me texting you. I'm
okay.
Tony, could we ever see you embrace airbrush as a part of your wardrobe? We know Jimmy Hart did it, and we know that guys in the 80s, whether it was the Ultimate Warrior or Ravishing Rick Rude, they were rocking the airbrush. Could we see you use a little airbrush on Dynamite or TNT?
Well, let me ask you this, Conrad. What type of airbrush design do you think I should have, you silly shit?
Well, I was wondering, like the jacket. Like, you can do an airbrush jacket like Jimmy Hart used to do.
Okay, I get it, but what should I put on there?
Bug. Lois.
Okay, we've gone too far now. Hey, Bug. Bug. Want to be on a jacket?
There's no referee. I wish Bryce could slide in there.
I know. 6-year-old Bryce, where was he? Is this the same arena that is now where the Devils play? Is this the Prudential Center? Or no, this is East Rutherford. That's Newark, right?
Yeah, this was torn down when they built the new stadium.
I think I went to SummerSlam '97 here. I don't know if it's the exact same building, but it was definitely like Jersey Meadowlands. It was Heart and Soul, Bret Hart and the Undertaker.
Yeah,
great show.
Yeah, I think it was the Meadowlands. Same place.
So you saw Austin get dumped on his head, Bryce.
I did. I saw Mick Foley fall off the cell in Pittsburgh in June '98 too. I was there. Here we go. Nice slow one.
Oh,
ring positioning.
Oh man,
Heenan loves it.
I think a lot of our favorite wrestlers as kids were influenced by the Ultimate Warrior. Even guys like Bryan Danielson, and he's even told the story before that when his parents took him to wrestling, it was a big topic of conversation in his household because, for whatever reason, Rick Rude's butt came out during the match. And I guess his sisters, and it was a big conversation. I just think it's interesting to think about the Ultimate Warrior for all the criticism he gets and all the negativity that surrounds his legacy, whatever it may be. There's a lot of fantastic professional wrestlers who grew up just enamored with him and this particular feud we're watching right now.
Yeah. What was the purpose of that ref bump? I don't think any chicanery happened while he was down.
No,
I don't. Usually it leads to something happening. Earlier he's just smashing him with the belt right in front of the ref, but here when the ref's down, nothing evil happened. Who are your guys to watch now, Tony? When you watch AEW now, Bryan Danielson is one of the reasons this is crazy. This is a wild Gonzo bomb. Whoa! That's like 91 All Japan stuff and 1989 WWF. That's those guys Eddie Kingston always yammering about, Tony. Kawada and those guys.
Who are my ones to watch?
Yeah, sorry, I got sidetracked by that crazy
okay.
movie. I think Bryan Danielson still to this day as someone just go ahead. You agree?
Yeah, we have talked on this program before, Conrad, about greatest wrestlers.
Yes.
And I'd said that because I never worked with him before, but Shawn Michaels was number one and Flair was number two. Bryan Danielson's number one now with a freaking bullet of the greatest wrestler I've ever seen. I
think of the touchstones of why I love. I think from my childhood, Macho Man Randy Savage is greatest of all time. Effective babyface, effective heel, great in the ring, great on the microphone, et cetera, et cetera. When you use those, like Bryan does all those things too, just for a modern era.
Yeah.
Like the crowd will never not care about Bryan Danielson. He tries to be heel, they don't want to boo him. He tries anyway. He tries so hard. He won't give up. He can be a heel one week, a babyface the next. Like he's just that good. And you can't deny what he brings to the table. And peel back the curtain, like the guy he is in the locker room, just like be more like Bryan Danielson, be more like Adam Cole, be more like Sting. Anybody who asks, I tell them that.
Yeah, exactly.